Hi everyone, Nicole Spohr here today and welcome back to my channel. I am sharing a couple of Mega Flipper snow themed cards. I've had several requests to show this Mega Flipper from Mama Elephant again, and so today I thought it would be really fun to revisit it with some of the brand new October release products from Mama Elephant, including Dashin Through the Snow, Snow Much Fun, and Flurry Frame. We're going to also use several other Mama Elephant products in the creation of these cards and my favorite brand new background stamp from Simon Says Stamp. So these are the two cards we're going to create. One card features mostly Dashin Through the Snow, and the second card features a lot of Snow Much Fun. We're going to start with the Flurry Frame from Mama Elephant. I have die cut this from some 110-pound weight Nina cardstock, and we're going to mask off the center of the frame. I think it probably would have mostly been covered, and so this step might not be necessary, but I never want it to look super messy, so I went ahead and did this, but just know that I think the Mega Flipper probably would cover most of it, so if you want to leave this step out, it would save a little bit of time. Then we are going to go ahead and ink the snowflakes all around the border of this. We're using it in a little bit of a non-traditional way today, more as a decorative element around the Mega Flipper than the frame itself. I will share some projects with this as the frame. Now, I started masking off the snowflakes and quickly realized that's going to be a mistake because it's going to give me a harsh line, and I want the snowflakes to be gently transitioning from one color to another. And you'll notice that they're in rainbow color. I was going for bright and colorful. This is a nice little bright and colorful touch to a lot of light grays that are going to be going on in our card. I'm using all Distress inks today. The center color up at the top is Twisted Citron, and then going around, Mowed Lawn, Cracked Pistachio, Peacock Feathers, Salty Ocean, Shaded Lilac, lost my train of thought, I guess, Wilted Violet, Spun Sugar, Picked Raspberry, Festive Berries, Spiced Marmalade, and then Squeezed Lemonade. That is our rainbow order around this frame. Now, I think this frame would be awesome just as is, maybe with a large sentiment or something in it, or back it with some acetate and make it a shaker window. This is an awesome frame. Included in this set is also a smaller round snowflake frame as well as a little banner. So you actually get 3 pieces in this die collection. And I'm just popping out all those little extra pieces now with my Spellbinders Tool-in-One, and I'll go ahead and do both of those frames at once. Next, I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch background that I'm going to ink with the Simon Says Stamp All Snowflakes background and Simon Says Stamp Fog ink. If you love a super light pale gray background, this is a fantastic ink color for that. It's a little blotchy now, but of course this is a dye ink, so it will smooth out. And look how pretty that looks with the bright snowflake border from the Flurry frame. Then we're going to build our Mega Flipper on top of that. Now for the Mega Flipper, there are 4 panels, and I have die cut 4 of these using the die from the Mega Flipper collection, and I'm going to place 2 of them in my MISTI at once so I can go ahead and stamp 2 of them at one time to save time, because 2 of them will fit within the framework of the 6x6 background stamp. I am masking off the edge because it instantly gives the look of an added layer without actually having to have an added layer. I'm a huge fan of that. Excuse me. I'm using just a little Post-it tape, and I'm going to reuse these same pieces of tape for every single one of the backgrounds. I'm going to do this 4 times so that I get 8 panels for my 2 cards. So I just went ahead and left my background in there, and I'm just going to reuse the tape over and over again. And we're stamping that same background with the all snowflakes background and fog ink. I'm going to go ahead, I saved the inside rectangle piece from the Flurry frame that was die cut out, and I'm going to back this whole thing with foam tape. So the foam tape is going to help hold the frame and the center panel together. Plus it's going to raise it up just a tiny bit off of our background. I like how those snowflakes are going to look off the background. Now I opted not to place my card on a card base. And the reason is when we pull the Mega Flipper, which you'll see in a little bit, it leaves us a space to handwrite a message when you pull that out. And I didn't feel like I needed an actual traditional card opening and closing. And it's going to reduce the bulk because the Mega Flipper already has quite a bit. Now this panel here, I've already kind of folded those panels back and forth a couple of times so that they'll move well. My big tip today is I like to die cut this piece, the piece that's going to be flipping and moving, and it has the perforated lines in it, from 110-pound weight Neenah cardstock. It's going to make it super stable for when you go to pull those little panels and make the Mega Flipper move. Then on each of those panels, I'm going to or each of those little strips, the first panel is pretty big there. We're going to place one of our panels that we stamped with the snowflakes. I'm using double-sided adhesive, and we're simply lining these up with each of those great little score lines there until we have 4 panels. Now this is great if you want to do kind of a comic strip type of scene. I'm just doing more of an individual scene on each one of those panels. So when you pull it, it's going to reveal a cute, different little Dashin' through the snow scene for each. We just want to get all of those lined up there. And I didn't think that one got lined up very well. So I'm actually going to pop it off and then I'll fix it real quick. So you can see now, once you have each of those in place, and I'm just kind of reinforcing those perforated lines for it to move. I like to go ahead and pull that a couple times to make sure the Mega Flipper is working great. And now we're ready to do a little stamping, and then we'll stamp and color our images. So the basic construction of our card is done, and now we're ready for some sentiments and things like that. So on the inside piece, this is going, when it folds over, we want to stamp a sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and place this in the MISTI, and I'm going to grab a sentiment from a recently released set. It's not from October, but it is from this fall. It's the Mixed Holiday Greetings, and we are going to stamp on the inside of this card, sending all our love this Christmas and always. And what I love is the font used for that really matches well with the font from Dashin' Through the Snow. So when we add some fun little words and text to some of the panels, it's going to coordinate really well. I'm using Simon Says Stamp watermelon ink for this. It's kind of a little bit more of a berry red as opposed to a true red. And again, that's going to be revealed when we pull down the Mega Flipper. I haven't really attached anything yet, and that's because I want to stamp things on each of our panels. So I'm using my MISTI again, and I've got we, you know, like they're going down the hill, wee. Then we are going to stamp on, that's on the first panel. On the third panel, Dashin' Through the Snow. And on the fourth panel, Slay the Holidays. The second panel actually isn't going to have anything. And that third panel only has like the little snow border bunny. And so I'm going to actually grab some additional images from an older Mama Elephant set. We are going to take the mountains and trees from Me and My Yeti and use them to help build a little scene there. So that's the only additional images from something else I'm using today, and I'll show you that in a second. All of the phrases on each of the panels was stamped with Simon Says Stamp slate gray ink, and then we're adding the little pull tab along the bottom edge from Simon Says Stamp Fog cardstock, so that of course coordinates back to the ink we used for the snow backgrounds. And then the little arrow was die cut from Hero Arts Simon Says Stamp Lipstick Red cardstock, so that it shows to pull that down. Now the only adhesive for a mega flipper is on those two little tabs I just pulled off on the back. We're going to center this whole thing, and then I want to press really hard where those little tabs are. The reason that's the only adhesive that secures that to the background is because that allows the mega flipper to move. So it's kind of a little tricky there, but I promise it will hold it in place, and I highly recommend a nice strong adhesive just on those tabs. So our mega flippers assembled. It's time for stamping and coloring some cute critters. I am stamping my images on Bristol Smooth cardstock using Lawn Fawn Jellyfish ink, and we're going to color them in with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers using No Line Coloring. I'm going to take you through the coloring of all of these cute little critters. I have sped up the video quite a bit to save some time. And I've listed the colors I'm using across the top of the screen. So if at any time you're curious exactly what I'm using, you can find those marker colors there, or you can find the information on my coordinating blog post where I have listed all of the colors out for each individual little critter or image. I decided to make my bears into polar bears, so I'm adding color with a gray tint and blender, which I know it looks super gray now, but once I add additional color to the fox and the bunny and the sleigh, I really think he looks white. You want to add some shading so he has lots of personality. My other big tip for using these markers, and I have mentioned it a little bit lately, and it's something I have worked really hard for because I don't necessarily gravitate towards doing it this way, is coloring anything light first and then adding anything dark. In this case, anything for the scarf, which I'm going to do a rainbow scarf to match the rainbow snowflakes to kind of tie it all in and tie it together. The reason being they're water-based markers, so if the tip of a light marker picks up, let's say red, it will just the tiniest touch will transfer that color to a lighter area. It has happened so many times, and so I really tried to do anything light first. So the polar bear definitely needs to be colored first. I went ahead and colored him all in. I'm adding in detail with a black pen. As always, faces are super important to add that character back in since we're using No Line Coloring ink, and a lot of that is lost. The definition is lost, so you want to add that back in. And then the rainbow scarf is probably my favorite part of this card, or of the coloring of this card, just because it ties into those rainbow snowflakes from the FLURRY frame so perfectly. Lots and lots of bright colors here. I have listed them across the screen. That's going to be repeated anytime you see a rainbow scarf. It's going to be these colors. They're some of my all-time favorites, and I use them all the time in these color combinations. So it's peach pink and sugared almond pink, carmine red and light carmine, orange and pale orange, bright yellow and yellow, light green and yellow green, turquoise green and green shadow, blue with light blue, pale violet with light violet, and then light violet with violet. So those are the color combinations. It is a lot of markers, but I think we can all agree that rainbows are super happy and always a nice addition on a card. I really love them on holiday cards. I think it's fun to find ways to incorporate them. For our fox, we have some brown and light brown with a little medium beige in a blender. Of course, adding in the detail for the face with a black pen, and then the little mouth will use some carmine red. The other thing I work really hard when I'm coloring with zigs as opposed to, let's say, Copic markers, which are an alcohol ink based marker, is trying to keep my hand out of something I've already colored. Because these do take a little bit longer to color, they are water-based, they will smear at times, and so I try really hard to kind of start at the top and work my way down. I don't know that I always do that. Sometimes I think as, you know, card creators, we get distracted by the next image we want to color. Maybe coloring in the little trees, even though they make a great addition to the card, they weren't exactly what I want to color, and so sometimes you might want to skip around. I try really hard though to start at the top and work my way down. If I don't, I will often go ahead and just die cut the images that I've already colored, simply to kind of save them so that I don't accidentally put my hand in them. And I know this because I've done it more than once, unfortunately. The trees are light green and yellow green with a little light blue up at the top for the snow. And we'll finish the tree trunks with mid-brown and beige. And they really will be the perfect little accent for the snow border. I colored the other polar bear off camera with the same colors that I used for the first one. And then the little penguin sitting on his back is so stinking cute. He is colored with dark gray and light gray, orange and pale orange, with a little medium beige and pale pink for the face, belly, and then the little pale pink is for the cheeks. Anytime some of the critters have little pink cheeks from being out in the cold, that is some pale pink. And of course, adding in that detail to the face with a fine tip black pen. This time I'm going to have the sled be red. I thought a nice bright color would be fantastic here against the neutrals of the critters. So that's going to be carmine red and light carmine. And then the blades there, dark gray and light gray. I trace out the outline first for the most part, and then shade with my darker color and shade with the lighter color or colors, depending on how big the image is and how much shading I want to get. Most of these are pretty small, so I stick to about 2 colors only for anything. So this is going to be the second panel, which is going to feature 2 little sledders. So we have the polar bear and penguin, and then we're going to have this cute little bunny on his little sled. And he is going to be colored with beige and medium beige with pale pink. A little bit different than the bunny that we colored first. He's a little bit darker bunny, and then I went a little bit lighter for this guy. And one of the reasons being is I wanted his little sled to be the same color as the first one, which is mid-brown and brown, which actually is the same colors I used for the bunny. And I didn't want it to be the same thing, you know, the critter and the sled. So we went a little bit lighter for him. And then I'm going to use one of my favorite techniques for the scarf when coloring with zigs, and that's going to be tracing it out with my lighter marker, which is peach pink, and then we're going to color it in and shade it in with sugared almond pink, and then we'll go back with I think carmine red actually, and we're going to color in or just draw in some little stripes to make it a little striped scarf. I love doing that with accessories. And then dark gray and light gray again. For the mountain range, that's going to be a little mid-brown and beige, with light blue and blender up on the snow caps. And while you're only seeing a couple of the tree images here, I actually opted to not use the individual tree, or yes, I did use the individual tree. I know what I did. I re-stamped and colored it because this first one, I don't like how it turned out. So off camera, I'm actually going to stamp and color another trio of trees like the one up top, and another individual one. Now this little snowboarder guy is so cute. We're going to color him in again like the bunny right above him with beige and medium beige with pale pink for the inside of the ear. And then on his goggles, we're going to use a little dark gray and light gray. The outline is going to be carmine red, and then we're going to have his outfit or her outfit be carmine red and light carmine and peach pink and sugared almond pink. And this is going to set off really nicely against the light gray of the background for one, but also the turquoise color of the snowboard that we're going to color here in a little bit. And then the boots will be dark gray and gray. I was surprised. This was the panel that I had to go back to my stash and look for additional images to work and finish off the scene. And I was a little worried that it was going to be a little light on images and not be my favorite. And I think it ended up being one of my favorites. I loved how it turned out. This is turquoise green and green shadow. And it really looks good against the pink and red. And then I added just some little stripes at the top and bottom of the snowboard only, not all the way through. And then it looks like we've only got about one image left to color from the Dashin Through the Snow stamp set. And that is the fox pulling a sled with a bunny on it. So again, the fox colors are going to be just like the fox up above. I love brown and light brown for the fox with medium beige and a blender for the lighter areas. Little pale pink for the cheek. And then he again has a great striped scarf, and this is a fantastic opportunity to incorporate rainbow again. You definitely could just do like a traditional red and green scarf maybe, or a blue and purple scarf, or whatever color combination you like. I opted for rainbow to tie back into our rainbow flurry frame wherever I could without it being too overwhelming in the design. And the scarf is a great little opportunity for that. Drawn in his face. I always am amazed at what a difference drawing in the face makes, because it just brings those cute little faces and critters to life. Then we'll just color in all of our cute little rainbow stripes and then move on to the bunny and the sled. And those are going to all be pretty basic colors. We're going to use the beige and medium beige for the bunny again with pale pink, the reds for the sled, and the gray for the blades on the sled. Then off camera, I am going to die cut everything, and we'll come back and put it all together and add any little finishing touches that we might have for our card, which there's not going to be a ton. I am going to stamp some little hearts throughout and color those in with a Copic marker. But other than that, I kept it pretty minimum. I'm not going to want to add dimensional embellishments to the panels because it just isn't going to flip very good, because they're flipping and going back behind. And so if you're going to add something dimensional, like little flat shaker, like I've used little stars before and things like that. I wouldn't really use cupped sequins. If they're flat, they might work. But anything super flat, like confetti, that's what I was trying to think of. That would probably be okay, but otherwise anything bulky, even if it doesn't seem super bulky like a sequin, it just isn't going to flip very well, and it could pop off. So I try to keep my embellishing to pretty flat with just these little die cut paper images. We're going to glue those in place, and the little mountain range, isn't it so cute? And then you add the trees in, it's just perfect. The addition of a few extra trees here really will make a difference too, and I'll add those here in just a second. So much fun. And I'm just going to pull that and show you how the Mega Flipper works. So cute. Here are those extra trees for the snowboarder panel. I glued those with liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to hold them down with some tweezers while they dry, because they can pop off. In fact, I think those trees popped off and I needed to let those have a few additional minutes to dry before I tried the flipper, but it is so much fun. It's hard to wait. Now I'm taking some Lawn Fawn River Rock ink, which is a gray ink for Copic coloring. Lawn Fawn has a couple of great alternatives to a black ink for Copic coloring, and River Rock is one of them, and I think it ties into my design better than a black ink. So that's what I'm using to stamp some little hearts throughout the panels and just coloring it in with R35 to give it some color. And here is a look at the finished Mega Flipper. So much fun. This one features, again, Dashin Through the Snow, a new stamp and die set from Mama Elephant for October 2020. Let's go ahead and move on to our Snow Much Fun. So this is another brand new stamp set for October, and everything about the cards is the same. I did the flurry frame the same, I stamped the panels the same, the background the same, but we're going to have different images for this card, which I think is fun. I love being able to take the same basic card design and incorporating different images to give it a different look. So in addition to Snow Much Fun, I didn't quite have enough images for 4 panels. So we're going to go back to the Snow Angels, which I believe is from 2019. And we're going to incorporate those into this card on one of the panels. I'm stamping the Snow Angel outlines right now. And I love that. I love mixing old and new. If you guys are new here, that's one of my very favorite things to do when creating with cards, is to show how you can use things you might already have in your stash with something newer. The Mega Flipper is not new either, but maybe it's new to you, and just to kind of show how you can take images that you may already have from previous holiday releases or anything really. The Mega Flipper will work for any kind of card, any theme or occasion, and make an interactive design. Once you have made a couple of these, it is so easy and the possibilities are literally endless. So really, really cute and fun to make. Just like I did with the first card, I'm adding text to each of the panels. So that's what I'm doing here. And the text for these is all coming from Snow Much Fun. And again, the text for the inside, you can see down there below. I just used another greeting from the Mixed Holiday Greetings. This one, and I will pull that one down so I can read it to you. This one is going to say, have a warm and cozy holiday season. So very cute and a great little way to add a sentiment to a card and also kind of keep it as a little non-traditional as far as it's not going to be a top fold card. It's going to be this Mega Flipper that opens up to reveal, and then you can just write a little, you know, in my case, I would probably add love Nichol, and then I'd write my kids' names down there too, or whatever it might be. Adding all of my little text, and this stamp set, Snow Much Fun, comes with quite a few more greetings as well as some thought bubbles. I didn't use the thought bubbles today, but they're really, really cute. And I like to lay out the stamps I'm using on each panel, you'll notice, as I'm adding my sentiments, so that I make sure and space out my sentiments correctly. This card also will have more than just the Snow Angels. We're going to use a stack of snowballs from YAPPY WOOFMAS, which is another previously released stamp set. And I think that might be it. So I used 2 past stamp sets with this one. And on the first card, of course, I used the Me and My Yeti stamp set with the Dashin Through the Snow. I'm going to adhere my Mega Flipper to my card base, again securing just with those little tabs on the back. I like to test my flipper and make sure it's all the panels are flipping correctly. And then we are going to stamp and color the images. I am going to speed through this pretty quickly as it's just mostly a repetition of coloring. All the marker colors are the colors you've already seen. It's just different images. By adding the images from the Snow Angels set, it's going to give me a critter that has that same rainbow scarf to tie it in, much like the first card. So this is really the only little guy who has that rainbow scarf. The images from Snow Much Fun don't really, but they all have sweaters on, which are so cute. And I'm going to show you, I generally kept to about 2 colors, I think, per sweater. And one of the reasons for that, you're going to see, I did cut it out because the video is quite long. But the first sheep that I color, I went crazy with all the colors I used for the sweater, and I really, really didn't like it. So I kind of skipped that out, but you can see it on screen here. I tried to do the rainbow thing, and it's probably fine, but for me, I did not love it, especially when I color this next guy and I stick to kind of a lime and a teal color combination with little pink hearts. I actually really, really loved this. And so that inspired me to re-stamp this guy, and I'll show you that at the end, and we'll recolor him. Probably my favorite image from the Snow Much Fun are the 2 puppies decorating the snowman. These little guys are darling. And again, you can mix and match and use any images from previous sets, or even the Dashin Through the Snow with this one. Wouldn't some of these mixed together for a slimline card be adorable? There are so many different options for mixing and matching because so many of these really are the same style as previously released stamps from Mama Elephant. So you can really go all out mixing old and new. That little snowman, how cute. So much fun. We'll color in our second little puppy here. I kept to mid brown and beige for the dogs. And then the scarf on the little guy is blue and light blue. And then this one's going to have a little jacket that is turquoise green and green shadow with light green and yellow green scarf. I really liked that color combination. And we added in some little stripes for his scarf. And then the mittens for the bunny, I forgot to color earlier. So I went in with peach pink and sugar and almond pink for those. And then for the next little sheep, his sweater is going to be blue and purple. And I ended up really loving this color combination as well. So color him in with gray tint, blender, and dark gray. And then blue with light blue and pale, or light violet with pale violet for any of the purple areas. Super, super cute here. And I love how he's trying to protect his face from the snowball that the puppy's throwing. And then we've got the puppy and then that remaining sheep to color, and then we can die cut everything and put it all together. I am going to assemble everything for this card off camera. So I'll do my die cutting, I will assemble everything. I did off camera as well die cut some stacks of snowballs from the YAPPY WOOFMAS stamp set. I just looked through my Christmas sets, winter sets from Mama Elephant to find the stack of snowballs. There might be other sets that have it, I'm not sure. You could also create your own with the individual snowball from the Snow Much Fun if you wanted to. But I added some of those stacks of snowballs to different scene panels on my card, and we'll be back in just a second and I will walk you through the flippers and show you them both in action. So I'm going to show both of the flippers in action now. These are the mega flippers. There is a small size flipper from Mama Elephant too. But this mega flipper is so great for scenes, and I've left this in real time, so hopefully you can just see how easy this works. It's addictive. I mean, I'm doing it right now as I'm doing this voiceover for the video, but so cute. And you can really do all kinds of fun things with this, with any stamps that you have in your collection that fit on these panels. And then, of course, Dashin' through the snow, and the perfect little spot to write a little message and your name down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these Mega Flipper snow-themed cards featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Mama Elephant products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here, and we'll catch you next time.